Okay, good evening. We're going to start. Yeah, live. Start. Okay, yes, absolutely. Okay, so good evening. We're going to start here. First of all, we want to give thank you to Encore Events here, the site that they are allowing us to have. And we would like to present um, our contacts here so that they have a special little announcement here. Do you want it, Monica and your assistant? You want to pass the front?
First of all, welcome everybody that's here today. Thank you to the candidates. Um, Welcome to Encore Events. This is a venue where you can rent for party spaces, any type of event. This is my colleague Victoria Zafredo. Um, we are banquets and also restaurant downstairs, which I'm happy to give 20% off of an entree for anybody that took place here tonight. So thank you.
Okay. And those coupons, you want to pass them out or?
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, people are still coming right now, but the reason why we're here today is because we have a group of Latino business owners and residents, and quite a few. I don't know. Altogether, Susanna, how many people do you think? Is it at least 30 or more? Okay. In the group that, yes, okay. And then we have a group of just business owners. We have a group of 200 Latino business owners. And we decided, you know what, hey, you can already start to vote tomorrow. And so people don't even know who the candidates are. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why we're having this event. Are you going to translate in Spanish? No? Okay. Or everyone English, okay? Yeah, okay, perfect. We finished faster. All right, so Anthony Vega, we're going to start with Anthony Vega first. He's just going to briefly explain about to make sure everybody does it the right, correct way. First of all, the last primary, we had an issue with voting sites. We got new voting sites, and people don't know where they are. Mail-in starts tomorrow, and then also registering to vote. We got very little time. So we have the pro here, Lake County Clerk Anthony Vega. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Are we okay with only English or Spanish as well?
English.
English. So my name is Anthony Vega. I'm the county clerk. Tomorrow is the start of early voting. You can vote early in my office in the county building, 18 North County, between the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tomorrow we will also begin to send over 60,000 vote by mail ballots, and you have until the Thursday before Election Day to request your vote by mail ballots. If you'd like to request a vote by mail ballot, you can go to lakevoterpower.info, or if you're here physically, we have applications down in the lobby with blank applications for you to turn in. Those can be dropped off in person, or they can be mailed back to my office at 18 North County. One thing, some of the resources that are in the lobby for you in English and Spanish are the Vote Ready brochures for April's election. It has everything that you need to know so that you're able to cast your ballot for the April 1st consolidated election. One change, which is a very big, important change for the April 1st election, is that historically you have all been restricted to your neighborhood polling site on election day. Moving forward, as part of our efforts to modernize our election infrastructure and to increase accessibility, you can choose any Lake County election day location to cast your ballot. So if you live in Waukegan, but you work in Lake Forest or you work in Vernon Hills, and it's easier for you to vote in Vernon Hills or Lake Forest, you can go to any of those sites to cast your ballot. We'll be able to print your ballot on demand. So that is very exciting for Lake County. We're finally joining counties in Illinois and across the country that are making the voting as accessible as possible. But there's more resources down in the lobby. I have staff, Karen and Maria will be here And we have more takeaways if you like more information for you to share with your family and friends. And we're here to make sure that you're able to vote. Thank you.
Can you just explain to make sure for registering people to vote, what's the deadline, online, in person?
If you are unsure of your voter registration status, you can go to lakevoterpower.info to verify that. If you need to register, in-person registration is technically closed. You can register online. Again, the Vote Ready brochure has the QR code so you can register with the State Board of Elections. Once early voting starts tomorrow, you can come to my office, register. You have to have 2 forms of ID, and you have to fit the 30-day residency requirement. But you have to vote at the same time. So you can go to any early voting location and on election day to register to vote. And remember, you have to be 18 years of age by election day to be able to cast your ballot. All of the requirements are in these brochures, so you can always verify your registration status.
Okay, so please explain as far as mailings. I know there's a lot of controversy, and we want to make sure that everybody's doing it correctly. So if Jeff McBride gets a ballot, he requests right now for a mail-in ballot, you then want to explain, and then also about signing to someone else.
If you request a vote by mail ballot, you can vote from the comfort of your own home. You just have to make sure that you put it in the return envelope that we sent to you. You have to sign the outside of the return envelope because that's how we verify your identity and make sure that it was you who filled out the ballot. So you have to fill it out, otherwise it may get rejected and you're gonna have to go through added steps to be able to cure that ballot. You can return it in multiple different ways. Put it in your mailbox and the Postal Service can return it to us. The county pays for the postage, so you don't have to put postage on it. You can drop it off at any of our drop-box locations. Every single branch court in Lake County has an external drop box. You can drop off your ballot. Or you can turn it into my office in Waukegan. If you choose to give, for example, if you have a loved one who's bedridden in the hospital and they voted by mail, they can assign someone to return their vote by mail ballot in person. If that is the case, on the return envelope, they have to assign somebody, and that person has, their information has to be listed in that envelope. And that is very important because you want to make sure you do it the right way. And I will say that once you get your vote by mail ballot, return it as soon as possible so we have time to process it. And if there's any issues, we can walk you through the process on how to cure it.
Another question, the person that is authorizing to submit a mail-in ballot, does that person have to be a registered voter in Lake County?
It does not. The law says it just has to be a person. There's a disclaimer on that. So before you fill it out, make sure you read that disclaimer. And I believe that disclaimer only says I designate, for example, if you give it to me, I designate Anthony Vega to drop off this return envelope to the clerk's office.
So
That is
anyone.
pretty much it. Just double check the verbiage. I don't have that verbiage immediately memorized in my head.
One last thing here, because everyone here is bilingual. However, we're streaming live, and the people, the audience, some of them are not proficient 100%. With that mail-in, if you could just briefly say that in Spanish so the people listening got it.
Si van a votar por correo, la información de las instrucciones de lo que tiene que llenar y cómo tiene que regresar esa boleta de correo, está todo en inglés y en español, nada más tiene que leer todas las instrucciones y verificar todo para regresar su boleta de correo.
Y que otra persona.
Y si usted no puede dejar su boleta por correo en persona en mi oficina y si no quiere regresarla por el servicio postal, puede designar a una persona que lleve su boleta a mi oficina en el 18 North County. Nada más tiene que llenar el formulario que está en el sobre de regreso.
La urgencia de tiempo para votar.
Normally, we have 40 days for early voting and vote by mail because we had a primary February 25th. It is a very tight timeline. We're talking about less than 30 days for all people to return their vote by mail ballots or to vote early. So please, as soon as you get it, turn it. If you prefer to vote early, do it as soon as we open up. Normalmente en cada elección tenemos 40 días por el periodo de voto por correo y el voto temprano, pero esta situación en el 2025 tenemos menos de 30 días para que la gente le llegue sus boletas por correo y ustedes la llenen y lo regresen. Entonces es muy importante que regresen su boleta por correo lo más pronto posible para asegurar que sí cuenten.
Okay.
Okay?
Any other questions? Preguntas?
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Gracias.
Candidates, any questions as far as voting? No, we got it? Okay.
I have one
Okay,
question.
thank you very much.
Since they don't teach cursive in school anymore, what do you compare some young person's printing? Is that,
Oh, is it X valid?
The question is, for those that didn't hear, is we verify signatures. We match the signature that you sign to the signature on record. Whether that is cursive or whether that is print, we compare the signature on record that we have when the voter registered to vote, whether that's through the DMV or through in-person registration. La pregunta fue que cómo verificamos la firma de una persona que está votando, y la verificamos, la comparamos a la firma que está en el registro del votante cuando una persona se registró. Okay? All right.
I think we're all set now.
Great.
Great, thank you very much. Oh, yes, okay, very good idea. Do you want to be first? Sure. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna get started with the candidates because only 30 days is nothing, okay? And they have a lot of other commitments they have to get out. So we're going to start with our first candidate here. And if you could just tell what yourself and what, in your opinion, what you feel the issues are in your capacity, okay? Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Janet Kilkelly. I'm your elected city clerk for the city of Waukegan. I'm in the envious position that I have no one running against me. So I am most appreciative to this community for not having somebody run against me, number one. I am running on a slate. I'm running on the Democratic slate, along with Treasurer John Schwab and with mayoral candidate Sam Cunningham. So we are the Democratic slate. My position, of course, is the record keeper for the city of Waukegan. I also take care of the agenda management and a number of the agreements, the bids for the city of Waukegan. But I look forward to representing the community as the next city clerk for the next 4 years. I have been most responsive to the community by making sure that my department is completely bilingual. Not me, I'm not bilingual. I did a terrible job in Spanish class. But I have 2 women who are quite fluent and are bilingual, are there to serve you every day. So I'm going to go ahead and ask if there's any questions. If there's no questions, I know that Ms. Margaret wants to move on. Mr. Fernando Bahena.
Hi, how are you? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice to run against you, or up to date? I would never do that. My question is there any way that the liquor license go back to the circuit or not?
Well, that is a decision made by the mayor. The mayor makes a decision as to who basically is in charge of the departments and is the collector for the liquor license. So that's up to the mayor who gets elected.
There was a bit because we had horrible experiences and horrible services.
I have to agree with you because I had it under Sam Cunningham before, and I thought we did a wonderful job at making sure that our people were, taken care of. There was questions were answered. We answered the damn phone. So, again, it's up to the mayor, but that's a top-down type of a situation. Customer service is at an all-time low at the city of Waukegan. It needs to be encouraged, and it was encouraged under Sam. That was his #1 focus when we dealt with the city, with people who came in, needed business done. It was always customer service. Answer the phone. Answer the phone, take care of the people, and you won't see that right now.
Well, I didn't see nothing besides for you. I see hospitality.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's my only question I have.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Ms. Margaret.
Great. I just want to piggyback on your comment because I think it's very important. Wait. About customer service and about the messages like that. So at a recent, the last city council meeting, the mayor herself, they announced, they just found out now that 400 messages for building permits and construction permits, they never answered the phone calls. And they just realized right now that they said their phone system wasn't working. 400 residents trying to get a building permit or some kind of license, and no one ever returned their phone call. That's appalling. So what she's, go ahead.
I'm going to tap right into that because I hope whoever is the next mayor, and I hope it's not this administration, because there's been no communication coming from the mayor's office, coming down to being disseminating to the different departments. You don't know what's going on in there. They don't respond. They don't send you information. There's just nothing. There's nothing there. The communication is so poor. I encourage whoever is the next mayor, make sure that customer service and communication is number one.
Is everybody getting fired?
Wait. Hold on. I'm going to give you a microphone because people want to hear. Or you know what? Why don't you come up because they have to turn the cameras.
Is anybody getting fired because they find out right now that there was 400 emails or calls? Anybody's obviously responsible for this in the city?
Right, accountable.
Accountability should be somewhere, but at this point, I can't say where the accountability is. Well, I can't. It is in the mayor's office. Do you see the current mayor here? No, I don't see anybody here. This is under her administration. So some heads should roll. But I can't say. I'm only in charge of my department. And so I'm an elected person in charge of my department. So I can't make any decisions for the rest of City Hall. That is underneath the mayor, and she's not here.
Okay. And I'm going to piggyback on that. All right, Juan Hernandez, stand up. Okay, candidates, get to know Juan Hernandez. Okay, come up here, Juan. What did you tell me about how many people you have? So tell them what they do. Stand right here. Go over here. Okay, what kind of work do you do?
Construction, asphalt and brick paving.
Okay. All right, and what's the issue? And this is what everyone's saying.
When we apply for the permits, why the city charge too much to get one permit? When in Lake Forest, if we go to Lake Forest or Highland Park, we spend like $40,000. They're gonna spend like $40,000. We only pay like $75 for a permit. Here in Waukegan, if we go apply for a permit and the owner is gonna spend $6,000, they charge $600. It's not fair. It's too much money.
Okay, here, Juan.
Okay. Nothing's more of a mess at City Hall right now than building and code. I've had numerous phone calls to me, and I can't do anything about it, about people not being able to renew their business license. The city hasn't sent out renewals. People have been 2 years behind in having their business license, and then they get late fees. So, and of course, this is all under George Bridges. He is the interim. So I can't tell you. It's on them, baby. It's on them.
Okay, well, and the point is, Juan Hernandez, stand up one more time, please. Okay, come on. Juan Hernandez has 200 Waukegan voters that are all in construction. That's his group. Okay, so he's a representative for all the construction workers They have their own companies. Okay, he has his own company, and that's the number one complaint that people have. And the second thing, I just want to piggyback on what Janet said. And I've been involved in many elections, many campaigns at local, county, state, and federal level. And there's one thing I will tell you. Every time, see the faces right here that you're going to hear the candidates? When candidates do not show up, they lose. Okay? Every time. It never fails. If you don't have the time to face and answer and talk about yourself, sell yourself, tell the voters about yourself, then you don't need to be in office. I'm sorry. Okay, next we're gonna go. Ready? Okay, and then we got a lot of information.
Well, good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you for coming. I want to give up Janet Kilkelly. Thank you, Janet. I know I'll see you over there in a second. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your time, and your energy to County Clerk Vega for giving us insight. And I think that's the most important thing we want to talk about, this voting process as it relates to Waukegan. The voting process, everybody, is you got to vote. We need you to vote. We can complain about as much as we want to, but when we don't go to the polls and voice those concerns that we have here, then we must put some blame on us. Early voting starts tomorrow. Early voting starts on Friday. Here's how this works. Your household, husband, wife, kids, immediate family, neighbors. Husband, wife, kids, immediate family, neighbors. Forget about voter turnout. Just stick with that pattern right there, and we will begin to move this needle of turnout. I know I'm supposed to tell you who I am. Well, first of all, for those who do not know, my name is Sam Cunningham, and I'm a longtime resident of Waukegan, Illinois. You know, elementary, middle school, high school, went to college, came back, started my political career as an alderman in 1999. I think everybody in this room probably has been a part of that political process over the years. In 2017, we became mayor of the city of Waukegan. From 2017 to 2021, we went through it, folks, in Waukegan. We started off with a negative $3 million deficit. Next thing you know, there was a sinkhole 50 foot deep in our community. From there, there was this huge tragedy that it took the lives of 4 people. From there, there was a crisis where Mr. George Floyd was killed, and that bubbled down to our community. From there, COVID-19. There was no playbook on how to manage and lead through something that this world shut down. The world shut down. Well, guess what? This resilient Waukegan, we were able to manage through that under my leadership. We're able to obtain a development that has been going on since 1993. I call it the entertainment center. Most of you call it a casino. We're able to develop and reconstruct housing for needed families in this community. But as I take my seat, I just want to tell all of you that we are a city of immigrants, and not just Latinos. Our a city of immigrants started back post-World War II. From there was the great migration of the South to the North, to now what most people call immigration today. Let me tell you about that. We know how to handle the issues that's related to immigration. And we handle those issues block by block. This community puts its arms around those who are in need. As mayor, as alderman, as my next door neighbor, if we are in need, we will help each other out, and that's just the Waukegan spirit. Now, as far as the issues are concerned, there are many. Let me just tell you what I'm looking to do. Rebuild our community, infrastructure, safety for our community, block by block, realign some of our departments, police and fire, and go back. This construction young man, we're gonna go back and we're gonna fix that problem that existed only over the last 4 years. I've been a part of city government since 1999. And while we would have isolated situations with a building permit, but you were able to go and talk to somebody to get it resolved. Today, you cannot. And I was just talking to the former alderman and longtime resident of Waukegan here, Harold. This is simply a money grab. That's what we call it, a money grab, a backdoor tax. But as I move through this leadership, back into the mayor's office, this is the easiest fix you ever can give me. If this is all I had to worry about, I'm a shoo-in. But more importantly, concentrating on you. I had a boss tell me one day, if you take care of the customer will take care of you. I want to take care of the homeowners, the business community, and our other business partners, so we can move on and develop in rebuilding this community one block at a time with your help. There's a ward meeting that's going on right down the road. I had committed to going over there, but I just wanted you to see my face, hear my voice, and let you know that I appreciate you for coming out and listening, not only to myself, but to those who are public servants, not politicians, for this community. To Ms. Carrasco, as always, everybody might not always like your methods, and that's fine. That's the Waukegan way. You might disagree with me, that's fine. That's the Waukegan way. But what you will not get from us, you won't get locked doors. We won't turn your back on you. And you won't send out false rumors to scare us. And I know some of our Latino community, you're afraid right now. I'm gonna tell you, don't be. We went through this in 1980 and 1985. Waukegan know how to handle this. And I was there every step of the way, and we're gonna do it again. Whether it be from DC or Springfield, you won't beat this Waukegan spirit. Don't be fooled by our disagreements. Be encouraged by our strength. So thank you very much for having me. I'm gonna go ahead and move on unless there's a question that I can answer, all right? Thank you, everybody. Take care. God bless. Hasta luego.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. I just want to mention that the voters, when you register to vote, you should get this blue card in the mail, excuse me, And in there, it says where your voting site is. We know that there's new voting sites or people don't know where to go. So when you get this, put it in your wallet so you have it, okay? The next thing is that I just want to mention, a lot of people don't even know who's running for the positions. On the ballot, we have for mayor, Harold Beedling. Do you want to stand up, Harold? Okay. He is a Republican candidate, and he's also a former alderman in Waukegan, and he knows a lot, okay? And you'll be hearing from him. Sam Cunningham is a Democratic candidate, and he just spoke. Keith Turner is an independent candidate, and also Ann Taylor is an independent candidate. Both independent candidates are no-shows. They're not here. They're lost, not ours. The next thing is for school board. For Waukegan School Board, we have to hear Jeff McBride. He is a current member, and he'll be speaking. Other candidates that are running are Angela Ramirez, Tanya Curry, Jeff McBride, Anita Hanna, Nicholas Shepard, Randy Sabecki, and Michael Rodriguez. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candidates, but you only can vote for 4. All right. We also have candidates running for CLC, which is Dawn Abernathy, Riaz Youssef, Janet Gibson, Tori Mark Newsom, whose wife is an alderman in Waukegan, Francine Zoda, and Vasim Lekar. So as you can see, a lot of people don't even know who those people are, okay? You need to find out who they are and realize, get informed about them. So we're gonna continue on here with who's gonna be next? Jeff. Okay, great. All right, Jeff McBride, Waukegan School Board member currently and on the ballot.
Well, as she mentioned, I am Jeff McBride, and this will be my 4th term. So I've been chasing kids for the last 16 years as far as the school district is concerned. But overall, I've been chasing kids for 40 years. And I say that I did Little League, baseball, Bronco. I was a Cub Scout master, all that here in Waukegan. So I went through several generations of kids. I guess when I was growing up too, from a Latino standpoint, my first girlfriend was a Latino. Her name was Esperanza. She was the brother or sister of Johnny Cruz. I don't know if you all knew Johnny Cruz. And then later on, my second girlfriend was Carmen Ladio Melendez. We all grew up together. So with the Latino family, I'm very familiar with them. And so, but anyway, I want to say that I'm not a politician. I'm a gatekeeper for the Lord. And he put me in the mind to do things to those that are less fortunate. And first of all, kids are my priority. And like I said, I've been doing it for the last 40 years. I started off at Great Lakes Youth Center. Then I made my way down to North Chicago Youth Center. Then I came to the Park District Unit Center, and I went to Park District Unit Center for 20 years. I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. So like I said, everything I've done has basically been around children. And I started my own youth group here in Waukegan. It was called Southside Positive Youth on the south side of Waukegan, because there were kids there that I recognized was kind of lost, didn't have nobody to give them attention, so I started a baseball team. And with the baseball team, one of my favorite kids today, you probably know him, it was Ray Edwards. He was on my baseball team. So when you see Ray take this mic, you see me all over again. And but he always tell me, you make this monster out of me. But once again, I thought I did a good job because maybe Ray delivery ain't sometimes may be all that cute, but his delivery, for the most part, is being heard. And that's what I wanted him to do, to stand up for his community, and he does do that. So anyway, as far as the school district is concerned, I know there's a lot of challenges with our kids and whatnot. And you know, the district can only do so much. I think a lot of it has to do with, first of all, it starts at home with the parents. And a lot of our kids sometimes come to school and they do things, and I can't blame it on the administrators all the time where the kids act. Sometimes it starts at home, and when kids come to school and do some things that they ain't got no business doing, first thing I say, well, sometimes home training sometimes creates that. And all our kids are not bad, but we do have a few bad apples, and it's always going to be that way. I was that way when I was a kid. I wasn't always sanctimonious as I am today. I had some problems too. But once again, I would say that all we can do is pray and work and hope that our kids get better and do whatever we can to help them get better. And with said that, I think I may have said a lot. If I didn't, I'm not going to worry about it. But I want to open the floor up to any questions that anybody have for me.
Preguntas sobre las escuelas. Questions about schools, anyone?
I have a question.
Here we go.
Our current,
Here, why don't you give him the mic?
our current superintendent, I don't know how many years she's been there, but the test scores are dismal. We pay her $325,000 a year in salary. That doesn't include any of the benefits. I want to know, she's being rewarded for failure. That doesn't work in the business world. Did any businessmen take on anyone who is incompetent? I think she needs to be replaced and get someone tough in there who's going to turn the school district around and especially change the curriculum. So these children memorize the math tables. They don't make them do that anymore. Ask any of your kids what 7 times 9 is. Most of them don't know, and that's a very sad fact. Their grammar is poor. All you need is a basic education. I went to school in North Chicago, but she needs to go, and I'd like to see the school board. I don't know if she has a contract, but somebody needs to get tough with her. She needs to change her tune, and I feel sorry for all these children. That's all I have to, that's my only question, why we don't get rid of her.
What do you need from me?
I just want to make a comment that I have children over at the high school myself.
Here, we're gonna get you the mic here. Did you want to respond about the superintendent? Anything? The contract ends when?
Well, she does have a contract, and we can't breach her contract. Well, you can breach her contract. You can pay a person out. That's not with the school. That's with the city or anybody. But we haven't got to that point to where as though, first of all, I think that maybe up forthcoming, that needs to be talked about. But right now in the middle of the stream, I don't think it's wise to do that. But I hear exactly what you're saying. And a lot of times when you have a contract and you have an evaluation, and in the evaluation, the way it's set is that you have to meet a standard. And if you meet that standard, you have to give that person the opportunity to say, well, you met your standard, and we can't do anything to breach that. Now, maybe the standard is a little too low. Maybe I would think that the standard needs to be higher, and then you don't meet the standard, then that's a different ballgame. But that's a legal contract that you have to follow. Just let me tell you what the high school,
I just wanted to comment as a parent of 2 students going to the high school now, and they're kind of new to the district because my kids came to me from Texas, and I can tell you that some of the things that my kids have been experiencing, coming from Texas here to this particular school district now, they've come across situations where they tell me that the security guards are acting like students. They tell me that teachers are there at the high school bullying them in class. That when they're struggling in class and they're trying to get, some help from the teachers, they're not getting it. Teachers are basically just treating them like they're just anybody else, quite honestly. And I've gone to the school myself once or twice because of situations like that, and nothing got done. And some of this stuff is continuing to happen. And I'd like to see some change in that as a parent myself, and I worry about some of the other kids at the school district myself. So that's really all I wanted to say.
Well, the only way I can respond to that, sir, what you just shared here in this open meeting,
Yeah.
we have a school board meeting twice a week. And you really should come and express your concerns because what you're saying is nothing new to me. I've heard it from other parents. And I think the more we hear, the more you tend to, the board itself will respond. But when you don't hear it, it just lays dormant. But I'm asking you to come to the school board and say just what you said here in this forum, because this ain't the first time I heard that. So I know it's got to be valid. And I can't really say because I'm not in the building and I don't see none of this stuff. But now I do know that things go on in the buildings because I work in Zion in the high school. Like I said, I'm not gonna never leave. I can't work in Waukegan because it's a conflict of interest. But once again, I want to be around the kids with your concerns like you're speaking, so I'm in Zion now. But I say to you, come to the school board. I think our next board meeting is next Tuesday. Please come and express your concerns because I hear you loud and clear.
I've written letters even to the school district and sent them letters.
And again, like I said, what you're saying to me, this ain't the first time I heard. And guess what? I believe you.
First of all, wait. Both what Harold said is spot on, and what our parent here said is absolutely correct. So I'm going to give you an idea how we can get rid of our superintendent. Okay, it needs to happen. Okay, how many years has she been in the district?
Well, I only been there 4 years, so I know she's been there 4 years on my watch.
Okay.
She was there when I got there.
So I think she's been there like 8 years. 8 years. And our school district is like rock bottom as far as test results, our kids. And, you said that, right now it's not the time. When is the time? Okay. So I'm going to tell you an idea. Okay. So right now, what they're making all these funding cuts with education, with all these departments. So you're not going to have all the grants, all the monies to pay. And a lot of federal grant money for that salary she's earning is coming from these grants. So you're not going to have all this millions of dollars funneling down from the feds anymore. So if you don't financially, if the school district doesn't have the money to pay a superintendent almost $400,000, then you legally can get out of a contract. And it does have to happen. Okay? So the time is now. They're going to announce it, Department of Education, and all those federal funds are being cut. Not only Waukegan, but many school districts will not have millions of dollars that they need. The hot lunch program is being cut also. Now is the time because you're not going to have the funds to pay those high salaries, and sometimes paying someone $400,000 a year, if their heart and soul is not into kids, then they're the wrong person. Maybe we need to look at other persons that will accept less money, and you need to make contingent in that contract that they have to improve. If the students, like you said, if the students don't improve, how can we be increasing your salary? Now's the time. I'm telling you, okay? And about the federal, but this is the last question for you, okay? We got the hot spot here. And we appreciate, okay, your answering. All these changes of cutting of federal grants, school districts, and not only Waukegan, all Lake County, get millions and millions of dollars. What is going to happen now that you're not going to get the money?
You want me to speak on that?
Yeah.
Well, we got a new president these days.
Right.
And not only just school, I think he's targeting Social Security, our food stamps is going to change. It's going to be a whole lot of changes coming down the pipe. There's no more diversity anymore. So it's a lot of things going to come down the pipe that's going to affect us all, not just the school, I'm talking about in general. So I don't know where to begin to start talking about that because I don't know where it's going to land. I just know it's starting to take off right now with all these executive orders that he's signing. So I don't know where to speak on that, Martin. Again, like I say, when it comes to from an economical standpoint and how it's going to hit us, we don't know where it's going to land now. But we know it's going to land. He's starting to do it already. He's starting off, just the other day, he had a talk with the governor of Maine. And when he started talking about transitional, now he politely just told the governor, "You're not getting no more money." It's simple as that. If you don't do this, so and right now, right now we're dealing with diversity. He's telling those y'all gonna have to change that. Else you're not getting no more money. So it's a big deal.
I know a big concern with Keegan, and this was brought up. Going back to that, the bilingual program, is that federal grant money for the bilingual program?
Some of it is budgeted and some of it is federal. So it's a little bit of both.
The majority of it is federal.
It is. So bilingual program is probably going to be out the door.
Well, again, like I want to say, just like anything else, you have to go back and maybe do something different. So it don't necessarily have to be out the door. I mean, I say that because of the fact it's up to us.
Right.
Just like it's federal, if we want it, we can get it out the budget and make it happen. We can make it happen if we want to make it happen.
And you hit just the key. I'm so glad you came, Jeff. Okay, he just said the key right now. We can make it happen. So all those parents, todos los papás latinos, van a recortar los fondos para el programa bilingüe. Pero quien va a decidir y puede hacer de frente el programa son ellos que van a estar en la mesa directiva. Por eso es clave las elecciones para la mesa directiva. Si no metemos las personas correctas, nos van a eliminar completamente el programa bilingüe. If we don't vote for those persons that support our community, like Jeff, they're going to eliminate completely the bilingual program. Okay? Then what we're going to have? There's school districts that are racist, and they want to deny education to all Latino kids. Okay? So, Jeff, we go way back, okay? And I'll never forget one time when you were walking with your children to go down to the beach to see the doves, okay? Me recuerdo, una vez estábamos enseñando inglés, pienso, y él pasó con un grupo de niños, le encantan los niños, he loves kids, a llevarlos a la playa, a mirar todas las palomas y todo eso, okay? So Jeff is definitely, it's like Sam Cunningham, they live together with the Latino community, okay, and everything. And anyone? ¿Alguien más? Pregunta para Jeff de educación?
I just wanted to add
Yeah.
something to what Jeff was saying and what you were saying about, ESL programs and
Yes.
Spanish programs in general. I mean, keep in mind that just recently, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard on television, on the news, with our new president speaking about English being the only language in America.
Official language.
Official language in America, and who's to say that cuts aren't going to be made in Spanish and those Spanish programs and things like that. So those are some things I think that are definitely on people's minds.
I don't even see that being possible. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why though. 80% or better of our school district is Hispanic.
Yes.
So who we gonna teach English to? So, as far as I'm concerned, the money that we have coming in, it's a no-brainer. Who we gonna serve? Our kids are 80%.
Right.
So
How
again,
many
like I
kids
said,
in the whole school district?
About. I would say, we got about maybe 8,000.
16 to 17,000.
I think it's more 16,000.
Well, I'm talking about the high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But I mean the whole school district.
The whole district. He's right, about 16,000.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm just saying, even in elementary, the Hispanic population still dominates the population.
Right.
So to me, again, we got to do, even with our budget, our budget should be going toward that direction. They ain't got no other choice but to go. But those are the kids that we serve. It's a no-brainer to me. And I just hope that, like you said, the federal funds, we as a district, we find a way to make up that's being took away from us. Because it's a no-brainer. Because those are kids we don't. We're doing a disservice to the kids that we're going to be teaching.
Okay. All right, so nada más en español, son 16,000 estudiantes en Waukegan, de lo cual 80% son latinos. Fíjense si recortan la educación, ¿dónde van a estar esos niños en las calles andando sin educación? Es horrible la situación. Pero Jeff está con nosotros, you're with us, y dice que no va a dejar que eso pase. Okay, un aplauso. Okay, thank you very much, Jeff, for taking all the questions. Okay, we really appreciate it. So, okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to go with Harold Fiedling. I think that you're going to be shocked at the information that he has. Se van a sorprender la información que tiene, and that's what we saved the best for last, okay? Just want to mention, in the back, we have mapas of all the voting sites, the new voting sites in Waukegan, okay? Everyone should have a copy of that. Also, the early voting sites in Lake County, todo el condado, where you can go. 18 North County, remember the courthouse? That's going to be like the #1, okay? Starting tomorrow, you can go and vote. And the other thing is, I want to give out to everybody here las aplicaciones para que puedan votar de la casa, okay? I got 100 of them here. I'm going to give out one. I'm going to give you quite a few. So you give these to the people, fill it out, and then you collect them, okay? And then we're going to go and walk them in because we don't have very much time, okay? So without further ado, we're going to go with our mayoral candidate for Waukegan, Harold Fiedling, a Republican. Thank you so much. Harold, take it away.
Briefly, my work history, I was a union carpenter 33 years. I worked for a general contractor on the North Shore. We did extremely high-end residential on the North Shore and very elaborate condos on the Gold Coast of Chicago. I loved my work. I went to work every day. I was the 4th Ward Alderman, one term from 2011 to 2015. I learned quite a lot about city government I didn't know before. Disappointed in a lot of what I saw. I think we could do things more efficiently. I think things are overstaffed to a certain degree. I'm a voracious reader. I read about everything that directly affects me or the community, what the state legislature does, what the federal government does, what the school district does. And I don't play games with ethnicities. We're either going to be all Americans and work together and think together, or we're going to fail. These politicians, they like to divide up everybody into groups. You're Hispanic, you're this, you're that. You know what? Pride in your heritage. I'm German, English, Scots, Danish on my dad's side, Italian, Irish on my mom's side. You look what those people have done to those countries over there today. I have no pride in any of that. As if you were from Mexico or wherever you came from, do you have any pride in the Mexican government? I wouldn't. Not what I read. It's pretty dangerous, the drug cartels, right? I don't think we need to put up with that kind of stuff. What my main thing is, I think right now we have a problem. Well, number one, let me state this. If I'm elected, I'm going to eliminate $200,000 costs from the mayor's office because I don't need a chief of staff. Right now, the retired fire chief is his chief of staff. His pension started, if I did my math correctly, 75% of his final salary. His pension started at $123,000. It compounds 3% annually. That's 123,000 times 1.03. figure grows. Multiply it the next year, 1 times 0.03. 5 years, it grows by $12,000. That's why police and fire pensions are underfunded. I think the retirees we need to sit down as a city and speak to the retirees. I think they can volunteer to do things. A lot of these guys have fabulous pensions. Do they really need to continue to compound 3%? If they have any humility, I would think that they would offer to forgo that, right? Anyway, I think Public Works, I'd like to go to Public Works. I'm not going to replace anybody. I don't have any friends or anybody like that I have in mind to be a department head. I'm going to speak to each and every department head, find out who they are exactly, what they do. Like I said, I was a union carpenter. I know when somebody knows if they know what they're doing. And if they're competent, I'll work with them. If they need to be replaced, then we'll find someone within the department, perhaps, to take their place. You get a promotion like that, perhaps start at a lower base of pay. But the city costs are very high. City, if you look in your tax bill, city taxes aren't the highest thing on your tax bill. That comes out of the school district. That's 2/3 of your tax bill. Now, the city doesn't have anything to do with that. However, as a whole, these are things that hurt Waukegan as a community. People often ask, what are you going to do to bring in businesses? There's not much we can do. You know who hurts Waukegan and every working class community in the state of Illinois? That's our state legislature. I read and I read and I read. I look over their bills, the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, they passed 2 years ago. Did you know that we're going to transition to all electric in Illinois? That doesn't work. It's not going to work. It never will work. It'll be very expensive. That's what they're doing from my heritage in Germany and England. They pay 3 times the electric rates we do here. Who wants to pay 3 times their electric rate? Raise your hand. You know what? The city, if I'm elected, I'm going to call Rita Mayfield and Adrian Johnson in. That's our state rep and state senator. When they pass a bill, I want them to come in and explain it to us. What's the cost-benefit analysis? They never did one for the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. And that bill, the only people that benefit from it are the billionaire hedge fund investors, because they get guaranteed profits. We still have to back it up 100%. It's a waste of time. It doesn't work anywhere in the world, and we need to put pressure on our state legislature to stop with this nonsense. Let's get back to baseload. Coal, we had coal my whole life on that lakefront, and the last several years, very clean running plant, very, very affordable electricity. When I grew up in North Chicago, my grandparents, we were upstairs to their 2-flat. They burnt coal for heat. The next door neighbor burned fuel oil. Everybody burned either coal or fuel oil. We weren't worried about any pollution. You know, these politicians take things way overboard. We need to start reading. Put your phones down. Get yourself a laptop or a desktop. Type in the search engine. You have a question. How does this work? You'd be surprised what you can find. To get back to the city, I get distracted. I read a lot, like I said. It's important. I'll go through the various city departments. I think we can reduce the workforce. I don't know that I would want to fire anybody necessarily, but we could reduce it through attrition. I know for a fact if I let the chief of staff go, there's at least a couple of city employees. There's a couple city employees that I think they would have plenty of time if I had to step out of the office to fill in until I got back, because obviously, like I said, I'm spend time with the police department, public works, building department. The building department, there's something that needs some major change. We need to go back to the old days in the building department. I'm one of the people that this mayor attacked, along with my neighbor, elderly woman, kitty corner to me where I live. They fined me $600 for chipping paint on my trim. I didn't get it done in their time frame. They fined her $400. She has a brick house. Not a lot of trim on that house. I filed a FOIA. In the 4th ward, it was over 40 residents that got fined from them. When I went to the kangaroo court at City Hall, the so-called administrator, there was an elderly woman up there, and she explained that she was going through chemotherapy. Well, the administrator said, "Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. I can't treat you any differently than I treat anybody else." Code compliance traditionally inspects non-owner occupied rental properties of 2 units and more. They didn't go after individual homeowners, especially senior citizens who were just trying to live their life out. Does anybody here care? If you had an elderly neighbor, you'll probably go over and help them. Otherwise, you think the city ought to be hassling them over, you got to do this or do that? Let them live their life out. We need to lower the fees. You know, it just, everything is out of control. My opinion, I'd like to look into the state of Indiana. Very affordable state, very prosperous state to live in. Kicks Illinois' ass. I would like to check into some communities down there of comparable size. See what their building regulations are. Maybe we could adopt theirs, change ours, or go back to the old days. But we need to make some changes here. I'm a simple man. I'm not a fancy boy. I tell the truth. And like I said, we need to, all this ethnicity and diversity and all this other nonsense, you're either competent or you're not. I work with all different kind of people as a carpenter. Work with a lot of men, different ethnic groups. We all work very hard. We all got along together, not a problem. The politicians create all this division amongst the people. But we need to act as one people. We're Americans. That's it. Like I said, I'm not German, English, Danish, or Scots. Those people make me sick. They destroyed their countries with all their stupid renewable transition to renewables. I don't want that here. But if we don't start reading and educating ourselves and calling the state representative and state senator's office and expressing our dismay with this, nothing's going to change. I have one more thing.
Mayor's office, you were saying about.
Oh yeah, I get rid of, the chief of staff position is gone. I don't know why anybody would need that. We pay the mayor $118,000 a year. That's a full-time job in my book. And as mayor, I want to ask my own questions. I don't want a chief of staff delegating authority to a chief of staff that isn't going to ask the same questions or doesn't think the same way I do. I need to speak to the people myself. Development. You notice at every election cycle, oh, we got a big development coming. Anybody look at the Tribune or Lake County News Sun? $315 million downtown development. 2 twin towers on Sheridan Rd between Washington and Water. Well, I bookmarked the article so I could keep it for reference. I've read it a couple of times. I don't think I have a problem with reading comprehension. These guys are looking for a 50% contribution from the city of Waukegan, that's us, taxpayers, to do their development. No, I'm tired of this. The businesses come in here, when I was alderman, they come in, they want a tax break. Well, none of the established businesses are going to get a tax break. It's not really fair. But to bring a new business in, we're going to help them out. Unless we're going to give everyone the same tax break, it shouldn't happen, in my opinion. I don't care what they're going to do, unless someone has an idea to bring a factory to Lakefront. I would definitely look at tax breaks for that, because that would be an unusual situation. Good paying jobs, a good tax revenue for the city, that would be beneficial. There's never going to be any condos in the lakefront. I would like to try to get businesses down there, factories, whatever. I just think it would be a good thing. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, if you could talk about the expense allotment monthly, and then the credit card for the mayor and the chief of staff.
Well, I learned, I didn't do a FOIA on the mayor, but I understand that the mayor, when I was alderman, it was Wayne Motley was the mayor. He got elected in 2012, so he was there 2 years during my term. I'm looking at the monthly bill run, and I see credit card charges on there, and I'm wondering, where do these come from? I find out the mayor had a city credit card. I went up to him and I said, what are you doing? I said, you get, at that time, $1,500 a month as a mayoral expense account. His reply was, that's part of my income. It's a stipend. I tried to pull him and stop him from doing it. I kept up the pressure every meeting. He finally stopped charging on the card, but as soon as I left, he started it up again. I understand the current mayor is doing the same thing. Her chief of staff has a city credit card, from what I understand. I think he has a city card, and he's got a city gas pump key out at Public Works. I mean, this is outrageous. We need to get back to a simpler time. You know, you're the mayor of a community. It's not rocket science. Things like the finance department, well, you need a qualified CPA to run that. That takes a little bit upstairs. I don't have that. I'll make one more comment on schools. We had a very good vocation program in North Chicago High School, auto shop, wood shop, drafting, metal shop. They removed all that years ago from our high school. Everybody's going to go to college. They don't make the kids memorize the basic math tables. If I were the king, I would say we're going to go back to the old curriculum. All our kids need is to learn the basic math. Algebra, I failed at algebra. I didn't understand geometry until I got into carpentry, because that's how it works. But our kids just need a basic education. They need basic grammar, basic math, and if they pick it up, they can go on from there. Maybe they want to go to college, but they need to bring back all those vocational programs. So our kids have something to look forward to in high school. I mean, what are you going to do all day long? Oh, we're going to take advanced English? I struggled in English. Write a paper, do an outline? That wasn't my bag. I couldn't figure out, read the story and then do an outline. I don't know if any of you guys ever had to do that, but that was over my head. But I developed basic grammar. My punctuation isn't perfect, but I read and I try to improve that all the time. But the school board election is the most important election in the community.
Yep.
And our school board right now, they let all that go. They wasted, I don't know how much money buying that bank building downtown.
Yep.
That money could have gone into bringing our vocational programs back. That would have been a plus, instead of getting on a damn bus, going out to Grays Lake and back. Anyway.
I just want to translate in Spanish, because you're saying some really crucial things here, okay? Él mencionó cosas súper importantes para personas que hablan español. Just make sure people get what you're saying about. El edificio que está en la Washington, la Genesee, la esquina, que las escuelas compraron, they still have not finished it, and now there's no federal funding, okay? Gastaron millones de dólares en vez de la educación para hacer una oficina to make the superintendent some luxury penthouse office, okay? Y ahora el problema es de que no hay fondos para terminarlo. So gastaron millones de dólares para hacer una oficina de lujo hasta mero arriba para el superintendent. Y ahora que Trump recortó los fondos, Ni lo han terminado y ni tienen el dinero ahora para abrirlo. Okay. The other thing is that going back to the money. Oh, no, I'll let you finish. Okay, about the mayor's expenses. Okay, algo súper importante, la gente necesitan escuchar.
Too expensive.
Ahorita con la alcaldesa de Ann Taylor, ella y su asistente les dan ¿qué sería? No un salario, es como una, ¿cómo? ¿Gastos? Ok, un budget, ok, usted propuesta, sí, 1,500 por mes para cualquier cosa que ellos necesitan. Y lo que resulta, y él sabe, él estaba como concejal, y es cierto lo que dice, es una de las dos cosas. Te dan mensualmente ese dinero, o si no, te dan una tarjeta de crédito, tienes tu límite de 1,500 y entregas los recibos. Pero lo que está pasando en Waukegan hoy en día, están agarrando los 1,500 mensual, Ann y George Bridges, además tienen su tarjeta de crédito que están usando sin límite, with no limit, on their credit card. Yo legalmente pedí copia de todos sus gastos en su tarjeta de crédito.
I don't think, I've seen a couple of the bills Keith has posted, actually, some of them.
Yes.
And it wasn't a lot of money, but yet she's still doing what Motley did.
Well, I legally requested a copy of all of their expenses on their credit card. So if everything is fine, si todo está bien, no hay problema, right? They should have just provided them. Estoy en corte apelación a nivel estatal peleando con ellos porque no lo quieren soltar. I'm appealing with state court. They do not want to release the copies of all their credit card expenses. Why not? Okay? And the other thing is that instead of in the city council meeting, they give a report with the detail of all of it. They don't. They're paying through PayPal. Lo hacen como por otra forma para no entregar ningún recibo de lo que están su tarjeta de crédito para, como él dijo, hasta su gasolina. Tiene tarjeta George Bridges. Va a la estación de bomberos a llenar su coche personal con gasolina. Why? That's illegal. And no debía. He should not be. You are correct. He should not be filling up his key. He is no longer a fireman. Ella no es bombero. He has no right to be taking their gas. The last point, and then we're going to go with our group here, our cultural group, because they have a beautiful dance. We want to promote that. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't mention our state's attorney, Eric Reinhardt. My opinion, if you are a felon in illegal possession of a firearm, you should be charged, prosecuted, and sentenced to the fullest extent of the law. However, retired Chief Judge Peconiak stated in an endorsement video for Mary Cole, who ran against him, that he often tosses the gun charges and negotiates misdemeanor plea deals instead. So they do a little time in county. If they behave, they get out in half the time. If I'm elected, I'm going to go march over to his office and tell him, that's not public safety. If you don't change your ways, I'm going to post these on the city website so all of you can see exactly what's going on, along with the felon's criminal record. That'll really shock you when you see how many times these guys have been arrested, wash, rinse, repeat, in and out the door, back and forth. It's only a matter of time till somebody gets shot. When I was alderman, I had a number of incidents in the 4th Ward. Police arrest them. City, that was it. That's all they would do. I got the landlord's phone number. I called the landlord myself, told him what just went on his property, and it's gang affiliated. I said, you need to ask them to move or evict them. And in each case, that's what happened. I think that would be a good policy for the city. Who wants to live next door to a gang member who brings violence into their neighborhood, especially with the children, drug dealing, perhaps even grooming the kids to work with them. I don't want that. It needs to stop, and Mr. Reinhardt needs to do his job. Firearms, felons in illegal possession of a firearm should be prosecuted and sentenced to the fullest extent of the law, period. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
And where on the ballot is your name?
I'm at the top of the ballot.
Why don't you tell me?
I'm at the top of the ballot. I'm running as a Republican. I'm not into politics. This is about common sense and good government. Politics ruins everything. So, please.
Are you planning to raise
Hold
taxes?
on, we'll go with the microphone. Okay.
No, I want to
We're gonna
try.
go with this question in the microphone and then the answer, okay? And su nombre es número uno en el ballot, okay? All right, question.
Are you planning to raise taxes?
No, I'd like to cut costs if I could.
Now, how you gonna do that if the government right now start cutting budgets and not, start putting grants away? So how you gonna do that in order for the schools to keep going and the residents won't get any taxes increase?
Because that's a big thing about the property taxes.
Like I said, if you look in your tax bill, the school district is 2/3 of your tax bill.
Yep.
But if we run out of money in the city, then I think that we need to sit down with the city's employees and say, we have to solve this problem. You might have to take a pay cut. Everything that I've read that right now, government jobs, if you compare a comparable private sector job compensation to a government job and their compensation, the government jobs are 30%, up to 30% higher than what an equivalent private sector job would pay. So we have a problem right there. And like I said, if I replace any department heads, bring somebody up from within the department and cut a deal with them. Say, hey, you know what? Let's see how you do running the department here. But we'll pay you instead of, I don't know what the building commissioner, I don't know if he was
I
$150,000.
think so.
I think maybe we could get someone within the department that would get their foot in the door, start at $100,000 or less.
I just heard that you're gonna have a chief of staff.
Pardon me?
I just heard that you're gonna have a chief of staff.
I'm not going to have a chief of staff.
And then you have to
I
worry
want to
about
do the
something.
job myself.
Right, and then you don't have to worry about
We don't have a building commissioner right now.
Right.
So, and I think that we have longtime employees in there that I think could readily step into that job. I don't think you have to be some degreed professional to run the building department. This city they've had, the mayors have appointed their friends in the past to run it. You know, you just have to give out permits, answer the phone, be fair to people, and I think we could probably get someone within the department that would, like I said, you get your foot in the door, you become Waukegan Building Commissioner, and start you at, not have to pay, but maybe $100,000, because a lot of these people that work in City Hall are $70,000, $80,000 as it is. But that's a good opportunity from them. If they run the department aptly, they want to move on to another community that maybe pay them more, and that's generally how things work, right? You slowly move up the ladder. But a lot of these people, the only person I think is worth their money is the finance director. Chief of police, the fire chief, but I have my own ideas about things, and like I said, with the state's attorney, I think we can put pressure on him by reporting on the city website, even printing it on everybody's water bill, so they could see exactly what he's been doing. That's not community safety. It makes our neighborhoods dangerous, and it's got to stop. Anyway, anybody have any other questions? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay! Thank you, Harold. You know, each of the candidates had a different view, different information. So we really appreciate your presence here and for sharing your stance. We're going to, you want to come up, okay, here? We're going to have just really quick here, and I'm going to move this out of the way. But just one última cosa que quiero poner énfasis, y posiblemente personas no están conscientes. Uno de los candidatos que no estuvo presente hoy aquí se llama Keith Turner. Keith Turner ha estado pidiendo a los latinos a votar por él, ¿ok? Para que él gane, es como cualquier otro candidato. Keith Turner publicó esto, donde dice que un congresista que le dijo a Trump está proponiendo una propuesta que cualquier persona indocumentada a matarlos. Repito otra vez, la raza, la gente latina tiene que abrir sus ojos y ya apagar la televisión y votar. Go out to vote. It's crucial. Un candidato aquí, Waukegan, él puso sobre de esa propuesta, su respuesta es, let's just do it. Hacerlo ya. Hacerlo ya a matar los latinos inmigrantes. Y él quiere ser alcalde de Waukegan. Si él gana, es la gente bruta de Waukegan que votaron por él y o que no salieron a votar. ¿Ok? So, no hagan quejas. Es clave la educación, la escuela. Si las personas indicadas no ganan, para sacarlo van a negar la educación de todos los niños latinos emigrantes. ¿Ok? ¿Qué van a hacer los padres con sus niños en la casa?